Kids, it's Sierra. How's it going? Your princess here. Um, it's been a second. I kind of ran into a snag, and I'll tell you all about it. Um, Today's talk's going to be on mental health. Turns out, Princess is suffering from a lot of mental health issues related to I guess, as I look into it and I'm getting help, it's related to being transgendered and being forced into the box of masculinity, irrespective of my nature. And in that experience of growing up, I didn't have a way to assimilate what was happening to me because there wasn't a category for me that matched other people's experiences. Not a lot of people had the same experience I had. They could look at what was happening to me and only apply their experiences to me and their ideas of what was happening for me. But their experiences are different because they're not transgendered, not a lot of them, and they weren't being picked on for being feminine, and they weren't being denied their nature by being forced into one sex or the other. When my nature is bisexual, transsexual, includes both, not one or the other. Um, so, so I want to acknowledge the fact that this um, has been true in my life. Um, this dynamic has been working in my life to make it difficult for me to assimilate with the guys on the soccer team, when I'm best friends with all the girls, um, with the girls where I'm more like a friend than the man. And for me, not knowing where I stand, wanting or being more feminine, but expected to and expecting myself to be more masculine. Anyway, it wound up leading to a lot of difficulty, I believe, and a lot of heartache. I don't think I'm the only one who's experienced this. I think transgendered people in general have to go through a lot of this. And that's why I want to be brave enough to acknowledge it, that it's happened to me, and that luckily I have begun to get help. Um, but let me tell you about the hitch recently. So, part of this blog is in order to make me feel more healthy and to create a conduit for others like me to work through this experience, this transition. But as I said, I had put something out there about tranny rights versus family fears, and I said some things calling my family out, and I got responses, negative responses from my family, either like my father's wife being completely, like off the cuff, really mean and nasty to me, and I had to block her. And then my mom responding and being sad that she was included in the same category as my father and brother, when, I didn't mean to make her feel bad, but she's integral to the whole scenario, and turns out is part of the nature that I need to block in order to continue to be myself. Um, I went to therapy today for sexual abuse and assault counseling, because throughout my life I've been sexually abused and assaulted for my latent femininity. and the way it makes either men feel uncomfortable or predatory or whatever. But it came from outside, not from me. Um, and I mean, their aggression came from outside. Uh, but it's hard to talk about these things when you've got your family and people telling you that it's not happening, that you need to quiet your voice and you need to accept it and suck it up and be a man and not blame them. And in not blaming them, you don't get to look at yourself, because in general, what my therapist told me is, unfortunately, it's your family that ends up being your number one protagonist. Um, so I want to bring that up for all people. It doesn't have to be that way. And my mother is my greatest support right now. You know, I mean, it's her natural reaction was to be fearful of it, of my process. I don't blame my mother for the past, and I don't mean to be critical of her at all. She's a wonderful woman. I just think that, for one, there's no context to put my nature in. When she was having me, they weren't talking about transgender people. They didn't have a concept of who I am and how to raise a person like me. So they tried to protect me the best way they could by um, giving me the tools necessary to try to be safe in this world where they could see, I believe, I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt, that I was going to have a hard time. I needed to become, I guess, more strong and less feminine. Um, but what that did was made me an angry person. My spirit, my natural feminine or bisexual, bi human, I don't know, bi-gendered identity was squashed. And in that, my nature didn't have a sense of bearing. And I began from a very young age trying to meet other people's needs because I recognized that who I was wasn't accepted. Not necessarily unloved. Everybody loved me. I felt loved. It's just I didn't fit. It wasn't an easy fit. A round hole, square peg. Um, I'm only beginning to see this as I come to terms with the idea of being transgendered. Only through that lens does my past make sense, and does the trauma I've experienced make sense. I had to tell my therapist today that I didn't feel deserving to be in her presence and to have um, state help in getting counseling through the Southern Arizona Council of Sexual Abuse, against sexual abuse, um, who are offering me free services that I qualified for due to mental problems and a mental problem classification of severe mental illness, which I'm suffering from, depression and trauma. And these things show themselves in a lot of different ways, but we can go into it, and I plan on um, elucidating on what I've experienced and what my mental state is and what this mental process is going to be for me, because I feel that it's the only way for me to find my voice and to perhaps provide some kind of growth and healthy interface for other people like me that are going through transition. I want to apologize for how um, non lineal my talking may be. I don't have an outline written, and I don't really. I mean, my point is to share my experience and to talk about mental health, but I don't. So sometimes I might sound like I'm rambling. It's almost 10 minutes now, so I am rambling. But it's an important subject, and I want to share it with you. I hope you'll take the ride with me. Um, I like to be fun and cheery a lot, but I am not fun and cheery a lot. often I am very sad and hurt and confused about my life and my actions and my past and my future. Um, so I'm gonna talk more about that. I'm going to spend at least the next week doing a daily journal on this for me and for you. Try to keep it. We'll have to keep it under 15 minutes. But I hope you appreciate it and have some comments that are supportive of me. The negative comments, are not easy for me to deal with. Um, but I love you, kids. Thanks. I hope this helps a little bit. I'll go on and on about it, but I wanted to let you know that from here on, we're going to do a kind of seminar, or I'm going to do a daily journal for the next 7 days. My mental health, the sexual abuse that I experienced, and the dynamic that transgendered people deal with. And I can't speculate about transgender people, but what I have experienced, in hopes that the trauma and the way I related to the trauma in explaining it and experiencing it for myself for the first time, maybe I can help you who might not have access to the counseling that I'm getting, that might not know that they can benefit from the counseling I'm getting. Maybe what I'm saying can help you. Maybe the pain and confusion I'm going through can help you to stay alive and stay hopeful about yourself and your future as a transgendered person, or any person that's watching and interested. But every personal life is a trial, not easy, filled with its own trauma and filled with its own challenges. But trauma is trauma. And what I learned today was that I was traumatized and that I deserve to have help and counseling. And I am a victim, not because I choose to be a victim, but because I was victimized. Um, that's really hard for me to accept, especially the male part of me, the one who won the fights, the one who walked away from the rape. I won that. I didn't get raped. I just got attacked for the purpose of being raped while being a girl. And I was traumatized by the results of my actions every time I have to act violently. That is very traumatic for me. So, I love you, kids. Thanks for being here for me. I hope I'm not a bore. I hope this doesn't sound too um, involved. But my counselor assured me that I'm not being a crybaby, that I've been hurt, and that I have the right to express my pain and to avoid people that are going to put me back in that box where I can't speak, where I don't feel supported. So, if you find yourself blocked, that's because uh, I might feel stifled by your attention and not able to say what I need to say. Because that's why I haven't talked for the last couple weeks, because of the responses of my family that made me feel like I can't talk. And my counselor spotted that today, the pain in my throat that I've had my whole childhood, is because people aren't listening to me, and my opinion's not really wanted, but it's valuable to me. I hope it's valuable to you. I love you, kids. I don't know how to do this, but I'm doing it. Hope you're well. Hope you appreciate it. Bye. Kisses. And thank you.